This video that we're about to watch is called Anything for Content by Pirate Software. I know a lot about this situation going in. I've talked with pretty much parties from all sides, some of his biggest antis, some of his biggest defenders. I even talked to the guy himself. Now, I didn't really know who Pirate Software was before this whole ordeal. I'll be real, when he won an award, the Streamer Award, I literally megaloled his ass. But I think what happened to him was really fucking sad, really embarrassing, and really showcased the true nature of how streamers really are, which is kind of why I'm more okay with distancing myself from the space, because it's kind of embarrassing having to see a bunch of children act like fake fucks for a career, kind of sustaining the life of how long can I be a fake-ass bitch on the internet so I can collect a couple more dollars. It is very embarrassing. However, I am curious what his side of things are.
Hey everybody, there's a whole lot of weird statements and allegations and content nukes and all this
Side note, this guy really looks like my ex-wife, and it really bothers me.
kind of stuff being levied against me, and I've refuted those things in many different locations on the internet, but I thought it'd be good to put together this video so you guys had it all in one location, because people are fighting over little pieces of information and ones that they hadn't heard and all of this kind of stuff everywhere that they can. So if I put it all in one location, it's much easier for you guys to find everything, and then you can just divert people to this instead.
Sure.
Much easier. And no, I'm not going to monetize this video. I just want to get this out there so you guys can actually see what the hell is going on the other side.
Okay, let's
Number one, Maldavius Figtree. This is the character that everyone's talking about. You'll actually see this posted all over the internet with people trying to use it as some kind of a gotcha against me. Except this character's never been secret. I talk about it all the time on stream, and I usually refer to Second Life, which is where this character resides, as an adult version of Roblox. And this character isn't just used in Second Life either. In fact, I've used it in other games. Kill the Moon is a demo that I never ended up releasing because it kind of sucks. It was fun to build, something kind of a side thing, took us maybe 2 months to do, and it was a good exercise, kind of like doing a game jam. But there's the character. I use him everywhere because it's my cool old object head character, and I like that kind of thing.
I don't get the issue.
With that in mind, the allegations that were brought against me were pretty goddamn heavy, but they're also not the first time they've been brought against me. The first time was in August of 2024, where I had to put out this announcement that's still up in the news channel on our Discord. I said apparently some people believe that I ripped off an underage artist 16 years ago. That artist went by Wingless Emoto at the time and is now known as Mameface on Twitter. They were 17 and I was 19 when all of this went down, and no, we never did anything sexual together. We made avatars in Second Life, and our work was really popular. And by really popular, I mean we were one of like the top 3 avatar creators at the time. The two of us made about $5,000 to $10,000 US every month.
Yeah, they were 17, 364 days, 23 hours, and 59 seconds. And I was 18 years old, and 0 seconds. Oh my God, I can't believe you took advantage of a minor. Oh my God, guys, I'm going to be real. I mean, I think pretty much everything's okay as long as you're within 2 years of each other, you know? I don't really know anything about these allegations here, but yeah, the majority of it's law. I mean, there's this thing called the Romeo and Juliet clause, which I believe is like anything's fine within 3 years. I think that's a little bit too much. I think 2 years, year and a half is pretty much fine.
Month doing this. They did all the models and I did all the programming in LSL. This is part of me being a freelancer back in the day before my career really took off. We had a falling out over pay.
Now, I'll be real, okay? When I was 16, I was with a 19-year-old. It was fine for me. I mean, it was good. No big deal. And then also, when I was 17, I was with a 35-year-old. That was bad, right? That was bad. Yeah, that was the first time I got catfished. That was awful. But when I was 16 and I was with a 19-year-old, it was fine.
Splits and Wingless open sourced their work. Wingless wanted 80-20. Our agreement was 50-50. When I said no, Wingless took all of our stuff, sent it out to the entire world with full permissions. Second Life has a permission system where you can change the permissions that the next user has, and by checking all of the boxes, they had free reign to distribute, modify, and copy our work infinitely. They never got fired, they quit on their own and did this on the way out. Tabloids at the time do what tabloids do. We were kind of a big deal in the game at the time for the avatars we were selling, so they made extreme and idiotic statements and took the side of just the artist without reaching out to me. These tabloids still exist, and people are starting to dig them up now. That's it. This is 20-year-old drama. Now here's the interesting part. Mame and I made up 4 to 5 years later. We've been best friends
20-year-old drama.
You can actually reach out to them to confirm any of this. We've been talking about them coming on stream to stop this tide of idiocy because this isn't the first time. This isn't even the second time. This has happened for years. People try to do it all the time to try and take me down, and the two of us always shut it down together because it's wrong. It's completely wrong. And it's using Wingless, or Mameface, as a weapon to...
I'm actually curious here. I am wondering if I'm out of touch here, guys. How many of y'all think 17 and 19 is not acceptable? What type 1 if you think it's fine, type 2 if you think it's not fine. Yeah, I see a lot of people on Twitter saying even 17 and 18 is not fine, which I'm just like, I really feel like we're just virtue signaling at that point. Like, I feel like these people have never had a high school relationship before. Like, I feel like a lot of high school relationships are just that. Anyway, this is 20-year-old drama, completely side topic.
try to bludgeon me when we're friends.
Age divided by 2 plus 7 is what I do. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense.
Hey, Techie.
And if you don't believe me, well, let's just go look at it together. Here's the post by Wingless. Mameface. I'm Wingless Emoto. I really was 17, and nothing sexual happened. If anything had happened, I would have outed him in 2008. See, there's the problem. They made this post publicly on the internet, and people didn't care. In fact, they also made this post publicly on YouTube, on the content nuke for this, and people didn't care. They tried to say that Wingless was actually a sock puppet account of mine, except Mameface's account here is from 2013. And then they tried to say, oh, well, maybe it's him anyway, and he's just been playing the long game. The goalposts keep shifting, but we keep providing evidence. From there, somebody actually did try to...
Yeah, people really have a hate boner for this guy, man. And this what really sucks about the internet is that these people try to get so many people cast out over nothing that they're willing to make things up that aren't real and believe them just because their hatred for a guy is so strong. And by the way, the reason why they hate this guy right now is because in World of Warcraft, this guy left a dungeon and let a couple of his teammates die. And now they're trying to ruin this guy's life over this shit. It's actually incredibly embarrassing.
Impersonate Mameface with a Wingless Emoto YouTube account. The only account they ever had before was Wingless Chimera, and the reason why is because Wingless Emoto is a Second Life name. Emoto is the last name that you could choose from a list of names to put on your character, kind of like mine had Figtree. And at the time, there was no way to change this. Their handle was never Wingless Emoto. It was Wingless Chimera and now Mameface. And when the internet inevitably brings this up in another 3 months to 6 months, I'll just show them this video because we've refuted this time and time again. And the two of us are still friends after almost 2 decades. You're not going to kill that, and you're not going to kill me with these allegations. Now for the second one, Asmongold. I recently went on Asmongold's stream and I talked about a game called Ashes of Creation.
Okay, I don't know anything about this. What's this about? What happened with him and Asmon? Let's find out.
Feel betrayed that I talked to Asmongold in the first place.
Oh, people are upset that he talked to Asmon. Wow, man. Jesus Christ. These people are so dumb. All right, let's hear the side.
Because they feel like his ideals will somehow seep into our community and they are inherently negative. They also feel very angry because a lot of people in the comments on things like Twitter were going and attacking them and they feel like that's...
Listen, man, I mean, listen, I've seen my YouTube comments when I talk about Asmongold. I have never seen more misinformed people on how somebody actually feels and how somebody actually operates than how people comment on Asmongold's behavior. It is actually insane. It's like they've never watched an Asmon stream or a video in their entire life. They see what the internet has projected as the reality off Twitter on how they feel that he is, and then everybody just believes it. It's actually really sad. Now, thankfully, he's a multimillionaire and he doesn't give a fuck, but even still, it's just kind of scary how that can happen to anybody as long as the internet hates you enough.
Somehow a core part of our community. So let's get into that. This video came out from a content creator called Narc. The reason that I had the conversation with Asmongold in the first place is because of this. As you can see, it shows a desert that's kind of, well, drab and empty. Narc's video talks about how he felt betrayed by the developers and he felt like the game was a scam. And he showcased this desert as an example of those feelings, saying the desert had not been completed and that there was nothing there. He had actually misrepresented the content here. You see, this is the very edge of the map in an area that's not finished in a very early alpha version of the game. And in the game today, still in alpha, it looks like this. And it's really, really cool looking. By misrepresenting that on Asmongold's stream, he actually set the tone to 50,000 plus people. Now, to understand how big of a deal that is, Ashes of Creation's primary Discord only has about 100,000 members. Our community is about 20,000 of those. We play this game all the time. So I'm very invested in wanting to play this. I really enjoy this game, as do many other members of our community. And the moment those calls went out saying the game was a scam, Asmongold's chat started to fill up with people echoing that sentiment because they had no other information. Right after this, Asmongold had on Stephen Sharif, the creative director for the game, and he showed off the desert to the best of his ability and refuted the claims. The problem was some of the people in chat were still saying, oh, that's fake. That's the developer. He's lying just to get money. So I went on, reached out to Asmongold and said, hey, I've had 500 hours in this. Come and talk to me. And he had me on. We talked about it for about an hour and I produced this video. It's about 35 minutes long as a result of that. And the whole thing is me basically talking about the game and Asmongold saying, uh-huh. That's kind of the whole thing. It's like a live React video. If you've ever seen his content, you understand what I'm talking about. There's nothing in...
This is Asmongold's React in a nutshell. Yeah. Uh-huh. True. That's pretty true. Big true. True, dude. That thing that this guy just said, yeah, it's true. Is what it is. There you go, man. That is every Asmongold React in history.
In here that's inflammatory. There's nothing in here that promotes hateful rhetoric, as people have been claiming.
Big
and
dick.
This is all
Winners
very
win.
mundane. So right after I put this out, a lot of people were...
You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it.
...really angry. So I had to put out a statement about it. I said a lot of people...
Fuck them.
We're mad that I talked to Asmongold recently about Ashes of Creation. I can see all of your comments and messages about this through YouTube and here on Twitter. In this instance, another creator made a disparaging video about the game, and Asmon didn't have enough game knowledge to talk about it because he hasn't had the chance to play it. So this immediately makes the audience have a negative opinion of something with nobody there to say otherwise. I have over 500 hours in the game and refuted the video by the other creator. As Asmon's channel was the flashpoint for this, it makes sense to talk to him about the situation and clear the air of bullshit.
Okay, so let me make one thing perfectly clear, and people need to understand this. It is fine for anybody to talk to anybody, and yes, I mean anybody on this platform. I believe it's fine to talk to a murderer on a platform. I think it's fine to talk to a Nazi or a racist on the platform. I think it's absolutely fine. When it becomes not fine is when you glorify the misdeeds that they do. But if you want to interview them, I think that's perfectly fine. This being so much as a small conversation about me telling Asmongold about a video game, people freaking the fuck out over that is insane. Now, if Pirate Software and Asmongold were to talk about some type of very offensive subject and agree upon it, that would be a problem. It's kind of like how I have no problem with Hassan Piker talking to a terrorist on stream. I have no problem with that. The problem that I do have is the fact that he glorified his lifestyle and romanticized the things that he's done, comparing him to Monkey D. Luffy. That's when it becomes a problem, right? And hopefully more people see it that way. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
We did this live on Twitch the same day it happened. In the internet of today, if you don't say something, then the room will fill up with people who do. I chose to help set the record straight on this, and I'm glad to have done so. If you want to cancel me for this, for talking to him, that's fine, but I would do this again given the chance. The developers don't deserve unwarranted hate, and I would do this again given the chance. The reason why is because as many people on the internet tried to state I was platforming him and his ideals by doing this, his community is massive compared to ours. If you have all of those people with a negative sentiment about the game and they have absolutely no other information to refute it, they're just going to go trash the game. And I don't think those developers deserve that level of hate whatsoever. And if I have an opportunity to fix that before it becomes, terrible and out of hand, then why wouldn't I take that opportunity? For those of you who think that I gained money from this or anything like that, I didn't. This was not a financially advisable thing to do. People are pissed about me taking a stance on that, but I think it's the right thing to do. If you see something that's false, say something about it. And if you don't like that I talk to him about it, that's fine. If your whole entire idea here is to try to take down Asmongold, and the only way you can think to do that is by coming after me for having a conversation about a video game, you're not going to get that accomplished, and it doesn't make any sense.
Hey, that's what people did to me. They're like, this guy's friends with Asmongold. Let's call him a sexual predator. That's how the internet works, man. Because here's what they do. They know that they can't affect Asmon, so they go after the people who they know he's friends with. This has been going on for years. It's the dumbest shit ever, bro. It really, really, really is. I mean, they're going after Emmy right now, for God's sake. Now, the good news is they can no longer f with me. I've already won. You know what I mean? But yeah, now they go after OTK. They go after fucking Seer. They go after S-Fan, Emmy, anybody involving Asmon, they go after him. And the really sad thing is that nobody has this guy's back whatsoever. And I think it's very pathetic and very telling of who is a coworker to Asmon and who is a friend. I think that's very telling to the internet. And I think the internet is becoming very wise on that. And it's great because it really is exposing a lot of fake motherfuckers. I saw people going after Will Neff. I will make it very clear. I think Will Neff is a great guy. I think Will Neff is a sweetheart. Very, very, very good dude. I do. And I really don't like how people are going after him. But at the end of the day, he's a grown-ass man. He can handle his own shit. But it is very embarrassing how much people have this hate boner for Asmon that they're willing to do anything. I mean, and I'll be real. Here's what they don't get. Here's what they don't get. They're going to go after OTK, and they're going to try to destroy OTK. Here's the reality, guys. You want me to give you a truth pill? If OTK disbands, Asmongold gets bigger. He does. Absolutely. Absolutely he does. Here's an even bigger thing. If OTK dies, almost everybody in that org is going to get bigger. Yep, that's my honest opinion. That's my honest opinion. I think OTK's run its course, and I think it did a lot of good. But I think right now it's a magnet for hate, and I think once it disbands, it'll actually be a net positive for a lot of people involved. The only thing that sucks is, you want to know why OTK is still going? Because the streamers involved there care a lot about their employees, and they don't want them having no job to go to. That's my opinion. Because I'll be real, the amount of free sponsors that myself included have taken just to be able to employ or pay the employees is insane. And pretty much everybody in OTK is still just doing it for the employees, making sure they have somewhere to work. Just my opinion.
From there, I've had to put out another one. And I was kind of pissed about it. So I originally deleted my first post. Because I basically
why do people
just said, this is why I did
dislike Asmon so much? Okay, because people... Okay. Asmon is a guy who has said a lot of dumb things. He has. However, we all know he's also said a lot of things that are right. I think the thing is, Asmongold usually says about 99% things that are true. The problem is the internet focuses on the 1% that might have been pretty dumb to say out loud, right? Asmongold is another streamer like myself who talks to his audience like he would talk to a friend in real life, which is pretty much no filter, say whatever the fuck you want to say. And the internet really does not like that. Now, a lot of the bad takes he's had, he's walking back and apologized for and repented on, but the internet doesn't really want to do that. Not to mention, there's a lot of political streamers who are out to get him right now, because a lot of political streamers thrive on character assassinations of other people who are in their competition space. And so you have a lot of streamers who are willing to peddle and push any negative agenda against him if that means maybe gobbling up some of their views. Not only dumb things, even the things he's right about go against the reality of half the country he lives in, right or wrong, morally good or bad. Yeah, it's a very complex subject, isn't it?
I'd do it again. It's a little crass for me, so I deleted the comment. Under those circumstances, I would have absolutely had that conversation again. Prior to me being on with him, another creator was there defaming the developers and the game we talked about. As Asmongold didn't have an understanding of the game, he couldn't refute the claims. It was being bashed to 50,000 plus people, which is a death sentence for games of this size and at this early alpha stage of development. And by the way, these are the types of allegations that have been brought about it for years. And after we had that talk, they've all but disappeared. We barely ever get those types of statements in chat anymore. It's really nice now that that air has been cleared. So it had a definitive positive effect on the sentiment for the game. So to reach out to Asmon, as I have 500 hours in this is just a repetition of the same stuff. But threads like this are just filled with people that are bashing me for just having the conversation. I don't think anyone should ever be restricted from having a normal conversation about normal things. I think the idea of going after someone for guilt by association is really dangerous. You can be mad at me for things that are real, but if you're mad at me because
I think generational hate and guilty by association is one of the dumbest things on the fucking planet. Like me being guilted for what my ancestors did is just like, bro, shut the fuck up. How low IQ do you got to be to guilt me for some shit that my great-grandpa did? People take any excuse to make themselves seem like a fucking victim and go after anybody for any reason they fucking want. It's like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, oh, bro, you're friends with this guy, but didn't they do this? It's like, okay. Well, what do you want me to say? Yeah, because I'm friends with this person, now I am this person. Yeah, because I play Yu-Gi-Oh cards and play with video games with one person, we now have the same ideals. I'll be real. There are some people who are just fun to do things with. I'll be real. And the reason why that is because think about how many friendships you have with people on Discord where all you do is get into a lobby and play Marvel Rivals together. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't give a fuck what you've done. The only thing I care about is who is fun to play this game with and who is good at the game. You don't need to know everything about somebody just because you're associated with them. And if your relationship is just that, where it's just surface level, and a lot of people just have surface level relationships. I have a lot. I used to not like them. I even have like deep, long-term surface level friendships where it's like, yeah, we are just cool. Like I have this guy called Ethelo. He's awesome. We've never really had anything more than a surface level conversation, but I love the guy and I've known his ass for 4 years. Just because you are friends with someone does not mean that you share all ideals, and especially if you don't even talk about it, then who fucking cares? People just sweat shit for no reason. And guys, I know this is a very complicated subject, and a lot of you guys probably don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. And you're probably like, man, I just got off work, and this is deep as fuck. But just bear with me here, because we're tackling a lot of nuanced ideas and a lot of nuanced concepts. So just bear with me here. I know this is probably hurting a lot of people's brains.
Spoke to someone that you disagree with, this is going to get really out of hand really quickly. And I don't want that kind of environment, and our community is definitely not that kind of environment. You can and should be able to speak to anyone about anything that you want to.
You calling us stupid? No, but I'm just saying if you don't know what to type in chat because there's a lot of information to take in, I understand if you're silent is what I was saying. I understand for anybody who has their hands off the keyboard because they don't know whether they should type a boba or on gang.
And if people are going to go off the deep end to attack you for that, we're more cooked than I thought.
True.
Heartbound, the indie game that I work on. People are currently review bombing this. They're very upset. And I can understand why in some of those cases. I haven't worked on the game for the last year. I could have communicated better this entire time, though, and that's completely on me. I'm a dumbass for not putting out more announcement posts and releasing information to you guys to let you know that what was going on, and I was stressed the entire time and acting like a fool. With that in mind, I've started putting out updates on this game again. We actually put the first one out on January 19th, 2025. I made an announcement out to the Discord about this on that date saying that we'd be moving to monthly update builds. Everybody was really excited about this, and they're quite happy with it. I then put out a video talking about what was going on and why this all happened. People seem to really like this. It's sitting at 4K likes on it. It's got about 93,000 views, and most of the people inside of the core community were really excited about the prospect of the game coming out now. And we have it all listed in timestamps for everything that's going on there and why we're doing all of this.
Good plug.
With that in mind, this led to the review bomb, but it didn't stop me from working on it. On February 1st, I released the...
I know he demonetized the video, but really good to plug your fucking game that's coming out. Very smart business move. Very smart. Turn that negativity into money, bro. Yes, sir. Plug that video game, brother.
first patch, just like I said I was going to. We put out the patch notes for it. I made another announcement on the Discord, and I plan to make the next patch on March 1st. In fact, I work on it all the time. I was even showing it off on stream earlier. This is part of the new environment that I'm putting together to be able to get this out to the rest of the public on March 1st. There's a lot of dialogue in here, and it's the end of a chapter, so there's a huge amount of stuff that I have to do. I've also updated the Heartbound ARG in the background, which a lot of people don't even realize is there. But we'll talk more about ARGs and puzzle mechanic stuff later. So with all of that in mind, if you're still upset at me about this, I get it. For those valid reasons of not communicating and not putting out information and not putting out updates to the game, I understand and I hear you, and I'm sorry for that. For the other amount of posts that are on there, there's quite a lot of them that you'll find inside of those reviews that aren't even about the video game. They'll put things in there like Maldavius Figtree, which we discussed from the first part of this video, or complaining about me talking to Asmongold, or saying mana gem from World of Warcraft because they still haven't let that go, or all the other shit that goes on in there. It's all of the allegations all of the time, and because of that, I had to lock down the Steam forums to stop people from talking about this stuff because it's incredibly obnoxious. Not to stop them from giving critique or, saying like, oh, you did a bad thing. Stopping them from doing things like posting my home address and telling me to kill myself, because that's what a lot of them were. And we reported those to Steam, and I can thank you.
Sorry, that was me. Okay, bad joke. I'm sorry, dude. I think it is hilarious when people say, Tectone, you should kill yourself. And like anybody thinks it's like affecting anybody. Bro, I've been getting comments like that since I was fucking 9 years old on World of Warcraft. I'm so numb to internet hate speech, it affects me zero.
You Steam for banning those accounts for doing that. If you're just a normal player caught in the crossfire, again, I am sorry. Please wait until March 1st and the 1st of every month thereafter for the next updates. Now for the next one, which is Ashes of Creation. Ashes of Creation is an MMO that is in very early alpha. I actually talked about it earlier in this video during the Asmongold segment. Something that I play quite frequently, and I play on the Lyneth server, and I am currently the mayor of Halcyon. I actually just got re-elected. So thank you, glorious population. With that in mind, it's a game that is a social sandbox. And if you've never played one of those, they're usually built on player conflict. There's a lot of propaganda that's put out. There's a lot of shit talking between players and things like that. Very similar to EVE Online or Albion or Foxhole. If you've ever played Foxhole before, you know that the wardens eat babies as an example of propaganda, right?
Yummy.
Very simple stuff. Collies definitely don't, though. So with that in mind, this server is rife with this kind of behavior.
Don't knock it till you try it.
And there's a lot of tension on the line because we're constantly combating each other and trying to get the upper hand through different resources. In one of those groups that I was in, inside of my own guild, I accidentally pulled something with a spell called Ball Lightning. And you can see it kind of off in the back there. I thought somebody else in the group pulled this, and I was really pissed off, and I blamed the rest of the team. And the reason why I had done that is because earlier on in the fights, people just kept pulling random shit. And then I accidentally pulled random shit, and I looked like a dumbass because I was an angry dumbass. This was entirely my fault. And later on, when we reviewed the footage, we realized it was entirely my fault, and then I apologized to everyone involved. Later on, we ended the raid, and we moved on to other content. All of these people are still in the guild, and we still run with each other all the time. So I know people on the internet get really agitated about stuff clipped out of context.
Why the fuck do we give a fuck about this? What? How old are we? We're gonna give a guy shit because of this? Jesus Christ, people are so fucking stupid, it's insane.
But here I was mad, and then we worked it out. Outside of that, the weird narratives that I've somehow been kicked from the server are completely false. As you've seen on my earlier part of this video, I'm on a flying mount.
Oh, they're making the same claims that like, oh, he got kicked out of the Arcanites community. Oh, he got kicked out of the Genji community. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay, gotcha.
Mounts are only available for mayors after getting reelected by people where they have to vote on me. We're also the dominant force on the server. We fight with everyone all of the time, as we should in any PvP-focused game, and we give a lot of reports and reviews and bug reports to the developers all the time. We also run internal information and have a thriving community of about 22,000 people on the Discord specifically for this game. So, not going anywhere. I haven't been kicked out, and this wasn't that big of a deal, even though I was a jackass in it. Now to the next one, where people are calling me a nepo baby. For those who don't understand the term, a nepo baby is somebody who got their job only through nepotism, never accomplished anything in their career, and never did anything to deserve the position that they have. My father was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years. He worked on basically everything going all the way back to the death and return of
Wait, Pirate Software works for Blizzard? Why has he never told us that?
Superman and many other games all the way up until now. And then he quit. He went off to Jagex and he worked on old school RuneScape, I believe as a creative director of some kind. With that in mind, he now streams on Twitch under the name.
The joke is he says it every fucking stream like 8 times. It's a joke. That's the joke. Yeah. Anyways.
Name of Yearjoy. People think that I got my job at Blizzard specifically because of him. In reality, I only had help from him in order to do my resume. But you're probably not going to believe me to say that, so I'm going to let him say it.
I remember one time he had, his boss had come to me because he came to me to apologize that one of his people talked to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, Thor came up and was talking to you, and I don't think that's appropriate and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I go, just so you know, I'm going to keep talking to Thor when he comes and talks to me because he's my son. This was 2 years after he worked for this guy, and this guy did not know.
So funny thing here, he actually got the timeline wrong. That was 4 years into my career.
That Thor was my son. and it's okay for Thor to come talk to me, you know. But it was in public. It was in the quad at work. It's just, but it's like, no, he can talk to me anytime, just like anybody else at Blizzard could come talk to me.
For those who don't understand what's going on there, my own boss didn't know who my dad was. It's really hard to be a nepo baby when the people who control your career have no idea who your connections are. Aside from that, for the people who have this narrative, both myself and my brother applied at the same time. I got the job, and my brother didn't.
So here's how it's going to go. If you like pirate software, you're going to believe him. If you don't like pirate software, you're going to not believe him. And that's pretty much it. Because there was no proof provided of this. And it's believe me if you want, don't believe me if you don't want. It's whatever narrative you're trying to fulfill. That will be your headcanon of reality. Personally, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt. It's not that big of a deal. And also, I'll be real, Blizzard, working as Blizzard as a company is not even a flex, bro. Blizzard is so downhill, it's crazy.
Where was the nepotism for him? And now for the next one. People saying that I'm using a voice changer. I can actually just control the vocal range of my voice. Just go like this and talk all the way down to the bottom of your vocal range. This isn't that hard. Then you go like this all the way up into your nose and talk like this. Amazingly, people's voices change over time, and they do this at different ages as...
Yeah, bro, if you pull up a video of me from, if you pull up a video from me 3 years ago, I actually sound like a gay boy. But now, as I've grown more into my streaming career, my voice has naturally deepened, and this is the way that I can control my vocal range at this point. And eventually, when time is as old as every being here, we will one day all suffer the same fate. I'm ovulating now? Great. But I can even be a little goofy guy. I can even be from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, otherwise leader of the Globes. Yeah, but I just don't understand why people don't understand that sometimes people's voice change over time, but you really gotta be obsessed with the motherfucker to really go after him for faking his voice, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. There's a lot of hateful individuals on this platform. What's the point in hating him for literally half the people hate him for? I'm not gonna lie, dude. Literally 90% of it, but yeah. I have not seen a single thing to actually be angry at this guy for, man. I really don't know how this video has over 10% dislikes. There's like nothing even crazy. It's like, yeah, guys, I didn't work on my video game as much, and yeah, now I talk different, and well, in an MMO, you know, when I was 19, there was a 17-year-old, and it's like, what, bro? Like, what are we even talking about, man?
As you go through life. On top of this, streaming and talking for 12 hours a day doesn't make that any easier or better. Outside of this,
because of his ego. Hey, man, I'll be real. If you're gonna hate a streamer for his ego, don't watch any streamer. Don't. I promise you. 99.999% of streamers have a massive, overinflated ego. Guys, I'll even say it. Even Emmy has a fucking ego. Like all these people, I mean, fucking Mizkif, Seer, Kai, Speed, who doesn't have an ego? You wanna know why they have an ego? Because you need one to fucking survive. Do you know how much of a narcissist ego you have to be to go live and say, yeah, tens of thousands of people want to hear what I say? Your ego has to be through the fucking roof. Now, we're not on Mizkif's level. That's a whole other thing. But I need to pull this up. How much weight did he drop on himself? 315? I really do feel like pirate software. You know, let's be real. Does the guy have an ego? Sure. Did the guy roach out? Sure. Did he deserve getting his life ruined over this shit? People doxing him, sending him death threats? Like, no. It's just complete overhated. You know what I mean? Like, just complete overreaction. And I think that's because a lot of streamers are so fucking entitled and they're out of content for WoW, so they just want in the punching bag.
you can actually catch me on a bunch of other content creators' channels. I went and did a tailgate party with Esfand in real life.
I'm going to tell you right now, Dix is good. Yeah. As you can see.
Yeah, no,
everyone lines up for Dix.
I was in the middle of a forest with Bao.
A lot of mushrooms, like, you can only determine what they are by touching them or smelling them or tasting them.
I've been in the Streamer Awards, giving speeches.
Since 2016, actually. So, like, I cut it during that, because I worked for the government that made me cut it, and then I just never cut it before that either.
I also got caught by NMPLOL right out there on the street.
Nick, my chat wanted me to say hi.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, they're
That's TwitchCon San Diego. I know exactly what intersection they're at. I could go stream snipe them right now.
freaking out. Yeah, so sorry, just have a good day. Yeah, bye.
And you'll find that my voice is just about the same range the entire time. It goes up when I'm excited or nervous. It goes down when I'm tired or bored, just like everybody else. It's really weird that people are obsessing about each and every little thing, but I guess that's the nature of the internet. If you don't believe me on this, I can't really fix this one for you, because anytime that I make something online, people would just claim it's doctored in some way. There were even people saying that they had hidden a voice changer inside of the microphone at the Streamer Awards, or that I got some kind of an implant in order to change my voice. And now for the last one. People
What
claiming
the
that I cheated in
fuck?
puzzle games, specifically Animal Well and Outer Wilds. Both of those games are games that I played live on stream.
I find it very crazy how these same people who are going after him because they think he might be faking his voice. You know what? We don't need to get into that. That's a topic where I'm good. I'm good. And move on. Don't say that, Techie. Don't say that. That is the one time I will filter myself.
We had a whole blast of fun with it. People in the community really enjoyed it, and they were very, very long periods of time for both games. I believe Outer Wilds was beaten in one sitting, but it was a very long period of time. And Animal Well, I think, took the better part of a week at that point. I think it was like 40 hours on stream and 80 hours overall, most of which was just us sitting around trying to solve puzzles and do weird shit on stream. A lot of people say that I cheated because I looked at my phone, because it was right here. Why would I cheat with my phone when I have a 3-monitor setup? It's a pretty easy way to talk about this. I have one monitor here that actually shows broadcast information, usually using game capture, so I could...
I have 2 monitors and 2 monitors only. This is OBS. That is chat. 2 parts on 1 monitor. Chat and OBS. This is gameplay. And that is all my favorite people on the internet. Oh, look at you. 2 monitors, 1 camera. Very nice.
Put a guide up here if I wanted to in the first place. This one is just OBS. I could put it right next to chat there, and it'd be really easy to hide it because I'm constantly looking at chat anyway. Or I could put it on the right and put it on another one where I put all my social media.
You know what's crazy? I rarely ever look at chat. I just look at myself and I'm like, damn, I'm pretty. You got to understand, man, I was a 330-pound fat fuck, and now I'm 237 pounds and I can actually bear to begin to look at myself, which is pretty nice.
Media stuff. It doesn't make any sense to use a phone to look at a guide while you're running through a game like that when you could just look at anything else. Aside from that, I have a very long history in beating puzzle challenges. So let's get into it. This is Potato Hat Security, our old Team Potato with a whole bunch of guides for DEF CON challenges that we've solved throughout the years. My name on here is Jason Thor Hall.
No way we're really gonna have to fucking... How were people go... Who cares if he cheated in Animal Well? Even if he did, who cares?
I go by the middle name of Thor for a reason, because it is my middle name. Brett Beerhouse is the person that I got to go run with. He's a good buddy of mine back from the Blizzard days. DEF CON 22 was the first challenge that we actually went up against. And we didn't win, but we beat it. There was a shitload of puzzles that went along through this, and we had a blast doing this and learned a lot about cryptographic methods. I didn't know anything at the time when I first stepped into this arena back in DEF CON 22, and that was back in 2014. After this was over, I went home, and I tried to learn as much as I possibly could about cryptographic methods, hiding information, and reading books like this one, called Code, The Hidden Language of Computer Hardware and Software by Charles Petzold. Awesome book, shitload of methods in it. I have a ton of books like this now because of this. And I went home and started making my own on a website called potatopla.net. Made it with Brett. It's actually defunct now, but it had a ton of our own custom puzzle challenges on it. Then we went back to DEF CON 23, and we teamed up with a team called Council of 9. After doing really well in the first challenge in 22, they wanted to have us on the team, and we agreed to join them, and we won. I got to write up this entire write-up this year as well, and we solved a bunch of cool shit together. One of the ones that I really had a blast working on was specifically the audio one, where I got to dive into DTMF using specifically Audacity to visualize the information. I love this. These types of things are really awesome. So whenever I play a puzzle game and I know that there's going to be cryptographic methods involved, I eat that shit up, dude. And if you're wondering if I actually did go to that, here's the badge for it. DEF CON 23. It's a radioactive badge that was actually obtained through winning that puzzle challenge.
He bought these on Amazon before he made this video. He bought it. How do we know he didn't buy it? Show the Amazon purchase history.
That year. On the back, you can see that there's a Lichtenberg figure, which is hit by plasma to create a small lightning configuration across it. There's also another puzzle on the back of this that was solved by CryptoK on Twitter. It's a running key cipher, and he built a way of cracking certain running key ciphers. After that, we went back at DEF CON 24, and we won again. DEF CON 24, we got a robot head. This is another black badge for winning a DEF CON challenge that is particularly hard. DEF CON 24 was actually written up on Council of 9's website because I was still running with them at the time as well, but I think they're challenge page is defunct now, unfortunately. I wish we still had it because I really, really enjoyed that challenge and doing that with them. The next year I left and I went and joined what is called the Psychoholics. That's a new team that I'm on. I have a lot of really good friends with them and over there, and you can actually see a number of them show up in chat from time to time, and I still go to DEF CON every year. At DEF CON 25, there was no badge challenge. The normal cryptographic challenges we usually do wasn't present there because Lost, the one who runs those, didn't go. So we did instead a telefreaking challenge, which was really, really fun, and I didn't realize it was going to be there. There was a guy who ran up to me, and he threw a badge in my lap, and he said, "You dropped your badge and ran away," and it was for the Ellingson Mineral Corporation, which if you know hackers, you know what that's from. It had a phone number on it. I called it, and I was like, wait a minute, this is something, and I brought it back to the team, and then we started cracking on it. We didn't sleep for about 72 hours, and we won. This is the black badge for DEF CON 25. Since Lost wasn't there, they made gold coins, which isn't as aesthetically cool, but it is still solid gold, so, you know, kind of rad. Outside of this, I don't just solve these, I build them. This right here is actually built for the Heartbound ARG. Heartbound, the game that I work on that I talked about earlier in this video, has a massive cryptographic challenge in it. And I'll give you an example of one of the puzzles that I built for this. And yes, all of these puzzles are built by me. Right here, I gave them an image of a whole bunch of different squares of lettuce. I didn't tell them what...
I hate how this guy has to talk about his credentials on doing puzzles. We're going to skip some.
So now let's look at the timing. My video for Animal Well here came out on July 27th, 2024. Except that's not when I played it.
Insane.
It's also only
People
7
are
hours and
upset
41
at
minutes
him over
long,
this. It's
which
like,
wasn't
what
the full
the fuck,
runtime.
bro?
As shown on Twitch Tracker,
gotta
you can
be
see that I
bored
played it
as
from May
shit.
11th to May 19th, a total of 39.4 hours on broadcast. As shown on Steam here, you can see that I actually played for 83.2 hours because I was playing both on and off stream, trying to practice different things and see if there was different puzzles that I could solve along the way. Inside of this, you can also see that the game released on May 9th, 2024, which was only 2 days before I actually started playing it. From there, I asked people to send in any type of guides that would contain all the puzzles that we solved throughout it, and those came out after we stopped playing the game. May 19th, May 22nd, and this one on May 23rd. There are likely other guides that exist out there, but I don't...
So that means people are accusing him of playing 44 hours of Animal Well in 2 days, and then he went live for a week straight with 8 hours of gameplay every day. I just don't know how people are even remotely contemplating that.
Don't know about them. The people who ended up helping us solve this were people in chat. We solved it together as a community with 13,008 people in the chat. My guess is that there would be a lot of people who were there from the puzzle solving community as we did this. Tons of people were working together. Baby. That was the point of doing this. All of this was. And on top of that, I ended up going on to go and interview Billy Basso, who's the developer of the game, and got the physical version of the game, which just arrived the last few days, which we're planning on beating this together as well.
I thought Animal Well was Donkey, video game Donkey's game. Is that a different game?
Well. And that's everything from me. Now that everything's in one place, it'll be much easier to just direct people to something like this so they can choose which thing they're angry about and then get extra context for it. And if they decide to still be angry about it after that.
There's a video making it very obvious that he cheated. Yeah, I just don't care. Like, okay, so let's say hypothetically he cheated on a game. Oh my God, he wanted to look smart in front of his chat. All right, are we really going to focus our hatred towards this guy when there's like legitimate criminals on the fucking internet? It just seems like such a waste to go after this guy this fucking hard. Guys, I want to make it very clear. I don't know this fucking guy. I've DM'd him maybe like 4 times after all the OnlyFans shit happened. That's it. It's just such a waste of time to go after this guy for this hard.
It's fine with me. I would much rather have this kind of information out there so that people have some other type of voice in the room rather than all of these different content creators releasing content nuke and expose videos without any...
There's no need to attack him, but there's no need to defend him either way. Well, there's no defending going on. It's merely just kind of making people aware of how bored and how awful streamers are. To go after this guy this hard because he roached out in a fucking dungeon in World of Warcraft. And all those people who went after him for roaching out in World of Warcraft then proceeded to roach out on Tyler 1. And just remember, guys, it's rules for me, not rules for thee. Everybody says about how easy your life is until they walk a mile in your shoes. And I really feel like people should just lighten the fuck up. I really do. I understand what it's like to be a streamer who's willing to go after every bit of drama for no fucking reason. But guys, it's time to grow the fuck up. There's a lot worse people on this internet that are still frequenting the platform that we could be focusing on canceling a lot more. Like Johnny Somali. I feel like Pirate Software is the least of our concerns, my opinion. But maybe I'm the only adult in this fucking room.